Holy smokes, everyone. We have got some huge news to go over today between what Russia and China are doing, because this is not being reported in the mainstream media, and what they're doing is going to have huge consequences on the US dollar, on the gold's market, and on the global financial system. Because what you have to know about the petrodollar and the US dollar is they've been able to print money and export their inflation to stop hyperinflation happening. And once people lose faith in the US dollar that is backed by nothing, that is when the hyperinflation and the death of the dollar cycle will begin. Okay, everyone, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into this news, the facts, and the data. So have a look at this, everybody. This is huge news. Russia's Gazprom neft moves to yuan in fueling planes in China. And why this is so important is because you're seeing more and more countries trying to find ways to trade without the US dollar, especially with oil and especially with other commodities. I'll bring up a chart here. We're seeing reserves in the US dollar held by foreign countries or by foreign central banks has fallen to a 25-year low. Also, what I think is going to be coming soon, which I'll do more videos on in the future, is the International Monetary Fund. They're also trying to create their own kind of global currency with SDRs, which stands for Special Drawing Rights, which is a basket of many currencies. So listen to this, everyone. The oil arm of Russia's gas giant, Gazprom, has started to move away from US dollar to China's yuan in settlements for fueling planes in China. And this starts from September, and they may switch to all settlements on jet fuel to yuan. He also said that Chinese airlines in Russia could start purchasing fuel for the planes in Russia in rubles. And what have we started to see this year, everyone? Well, I'll bring up a chart here. This is the Chinese yuan to US dollars. And what can we see in this chart over the past year? We can see the Chinese yuan against the US dollar is strengthening. And not only the Chinese yuan, but also the Russian ruble is starting to show strength against the US dollar. Why do you think this is happening, everybody? Also at the time when Russia is launching its digital yuan, and there is rumors and speculation that they may try to back it partially by gold. Now, not that I'll trust them, but if it is backed partially by gold, well, it's better than the US dollar, which is backed by nothing. So they also go on to say that Russia and China have planned to increase settlements in the local currencies in mutual trade, and also other countries are starting to do this. Because another major news piece is the Saudis signed military cooperation agreement with Russia. So what I'm starting to see the trend here around the world is other major countries like Russia and China, they seem to be getting stronger when it looks like the US is on a slow decline. Because they go on to say that Russia has been pushing for greater role of the ruble on the global financial market and eventually some form of currency reserve. Beijing is also seeking greater international role for still tightly controlled yuan. But people, something also huge that Russia and China has been doing and is doing that not many people are aware about is they are hoarding piles and piles of gold. I'll bring up a chart here, everyone. We can see since 2012, Russia has been hoarding piles and piles of gold. They've increased their gold reserves from around 800 tons to 2,295 tons. Now, also something that's a bit of a coincidence, or something that I'll show you here that is absolutely crazy. They've really started increasing their gold reserves in 2014 and 2015. Well, now let's look at China. Also, at the same time, look at this chart here with China's gold reserves. They went absolutely vertical in 2015. And we can see they've increased their gold reserves from around 1,000 tons to around 2,000 tons. And look at this chart. What has the US done? They've sold off the assets. The West, they continue to sell the assets, while the East, they're gaining more and more assets, where the West, we're just consumers. We're selling our assets to buy stuff that doesn't make us money. But something huge, everyone. Look at the timing when they started doing this, and look at the gold chart. As we can see in this gold chart, after they started hoarding and buying gold in 2015, from 2016, the price of gold started to rally, and it went from around $1,100 and it almost doubled, just going over $2,000 an ounce. So again, why do you think China and Russia are doing this? Do they know that the US dollar as a world reserve currency days are numbered? Because there's been many countries that have held world reserve currency status, but normally after between 80 and 110 years, they lose that status. And whatever country has the strongest currency or has the most gold backing their currency, well, then most capital is going to flood into that country. Because when the day does come, look at the way they're printing the dollar. They're printing trillions and trillions of dollars. Even TikTokers know that, the money printer is going burr and that they're losing money. So people are putting money in anything they can besides a dollar. And this is why we're pretty much seeing borderline hyperinflation in global markets like the stock market and housing market and cryptocurrency markets and collectibles and now digital art NFTs. These are all going crazy. We're not really just in a stock market bubble or a housing market bubble. We're in a fiat currency bubble. And with the escalations with the China and US trade war, also something China could do that would be absolutely catastrophic for the US stock market is China is the second largest holder of US Treasury bonds. I'll pull up a chart here that shows all the countries and their holdings. Japan is number one, followed by China and then the United Kingdom. If things got really sour between the US and China, China could dump $1 trillion worth of US treasuries onto the market. US treasury yields would spike immediately. This would send shockwaves through the financial system. All of a sudden, the cost burden of the US government, they won't be able to service their debt. They would default on the debt, and this would cause another global financial crisis, and people will flood to safety, whatever currency is the strongest or whatever country has the strongest fundamentals backing their currency by real assets. Now, I know that may seem crazy and like it never happened, but with things getting crazy around the world, with the pandemic, with everything that's going on right now, fact is truly getting stranger than fiction. So now that we know this, what can we do to protect ourselves? Well, what I think, again, is not financial advice, but this is just a good way to hedge. And, just like buying insurance in case of a disaster, you want financial insurance. And what countries are doing right now that want to protect themselves against this hyperinflation or fiat currency collapses, they are holding gold. Because even though gold hasn't been the best performer right now, it will be the best performer when the currency does collapse. And not only gold, but all real hard tangible assets like land, farmland, tools, cars, oil, all things you think people would need during a crisis will skyrocket in value. So everyone, that was just a quick update with what's going on with China, Russia, and the global markets and how we need to protect ourselves before it's too late. Because there's a saying, it's better to be prepared a year too early than a day too late. And when the day does eventually come, people will wish that they brought real hard tangible assets instead of holding these worthless fiat currencies that are backed by nothing. But everyone, what do you think on this topic? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.